So welcome today to the Vision Cast. I see we have Bonnie and Chris on here so far. So thank you both very much for joining. It's January the 26th as we record this of 2026. So 1/26/26. And today we're talking about how God works through small actions, that small actions can create a big impact. It's just a favorite topic of mine. I recently spoke on this topic to a group of men here in Owasso just last week, because God calls us to a big vision, but he only gives us small roles to play, a small job to do in each of it. And each of us have actions that we can take, and our actions matter. So I'm very excited about what God's doing in and through Follower of One. Although I confess, we're snowed in here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The main roads are open, but our neighborhood is bad, and we just haven't been out. I haven't been out much in the weather. And fortunately, I do a lot of things virtually on screen. I had a call earlier this morning. I've got a couple of other calls today and tomorrow. We're also doing our Marketplace mission trip. We're doing our 43rd Follower of One Marketplace mission trip. We've done over 65 of these mission trips with churches and private groups and things like that. The Marketplace mission trip is a great way for us to practice doing the small things and being aware of and taking part in the smaller things that God gives us to do in our workplace. And one of those small things was this Vision Cast. We had this idea that I just wanted to share a little bit about the vision and the mission of Follower of One. I hope every believer realizes that we all have a role to play, that we're not here just to stay out of trouble. We're here because Jesus wants other people to know him and to trust him and to relax in him and to rely on him. And so I want to live relaxing and relying on him. And there are times when that's harder than others, like when we're holed up in our house or when there's a bunch of people around. I don't do really good in big crowds. But I'm excited because I know that God is working. I know that he's providing for us. I know that he is giving us a role and a responsibility and things to do. And this passage today that we're talking about is one of the ways that he shows this to us. So we have 3 verses for today. The first one is Luke 16:10. He who is faithful in a very little thing is faithful also in much. And he who is unrighteous in a very little thing is unrighteous also in much. The New American Standard translates this with a slightly different word there than many of the other translations do. But I think it's great to make this comparison that there's faithfulness and then there's unrighteousness. We're not in sync with Jesus when we're unfaithful, but we are in sync with Jesus when we are faithful. And he gives us these opportunities. He gives us, hey, Larry, thanks for joining. He gives us these opportunities to live out what we believe. That's his model for us making him known in the world, is that we live following him. And we go through the same things that everyone else goes through, but we do that following Christ so that the world can see that following him makes a difference. And following him actually matters forever. And so when we're faithful in a very little thing, we'll be faithful also in bigger things. And when we're not very faithful in very little things, we will also be unfaithful in much larger things. This is a challenge for me. I tend to cherry pick what I do. I want to judge and choose instead of just listening to God and doing what he says. And that's one of those things that I have to work on. But that's why this passage is important. It's important for us to remember that God uses our small actions and he uses them to make big differences in the lives of other people. Another verse that came to mind as I was thinking about verses to talk about the importance of small actions. This is a verse I quote often. It's from Matthew 10:42. However, I pulled out the Christian Standard Bible's translation of this verse today for a slightly different twist. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones because he is a disciple, truly I tell you, he will never lose his reward. Jesus was around a bunch of kids, and they were talking about them, and um, I'm I'm just struck by how he draws these parallels, and he shows us how what he's asking us to do makes sense in every circumstance. And so when we even give a cup of cold water to someone because we're a follower of Christ, it says we will never lose our reward. Now, there's another passage that's very similar to this in Mark that I also wanted to talk about today. In Mark chapter 9, verse 41, it says, "And whoever gives you a cup of cold water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ, truly I tell you, he will never lose his reward." So it also applies if people give us something because we're a Christ follower, they will never lose their reward. I think these verses are very important. And I use the Christian Standard Version just to give us another twist on how the words are chosen and the way they're ordered. In the New American Standard, it's not always clear to me if Jesus is talking because of the he's. Who he's talking about, he will never lose his reward. I believe it's the person who does the giving will never lose their reward because we belong to Christ, is in the Christian Standard. And so he's also saying that if I give a cup of cold water to someone because I'm a follower, then I will never lose my reward. That's from Matthew. If someone else gives me a cup of cold water because I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, then they will never lose their reward. That to me is also very interesting, because he's actually tying it together. He's saying if they give me a cup of cold water to drink because we belong to Christ, truly I tell you, he will never lose his reward. I'm looking forward to eternal rewards, and it's because of this passage. These two verses are key. There's always something I can do that gives me the opportunity to earn an eternal reward. Before I was a believer, I was a very ambitious young man. I wanted to be very successful in the world. And when I became a believer, I had to struggle with that. I struggled with my ambition some. I still want to be successful. I want to accomplish things. I want to do those things, but not so much because of who I am anymore, but because I want to make good use of the time that Jesus gave me here on earth. I want to lay up treasure in heaven. I'm sending it on ahead here. That's my arm motion. But I want to lay up treasure in heaven. And so I have to remind myself sometimes that the lazy me who doesn't want to even bother with a cup of cold water is going to miss out if I don't actually, get out of my own way and give someone a cup of cold water or do something nice for someone. So today, even on our Marketplace mission trip, today's the first day of the second week of this trip. And we're reminded to go. We're reminded that what we do as we follow Jesus is our mission. Our mission is to serve other people so that Christ becomes visible. And every small act matters. Every single one. That's the passage that we spoke about today. Every small act matters. And so we have this opportunity to make small actions and lay up treasure in heaven that will never rust. It will never expire. It doesn't have an expiration date. It doesn't wear out. These rewards will be given to us because we're followers of Christ and because we did what he said. I see we have a couple of other friends who have joined us today. So Justin Brostrom and Rick Johnson and Larry Tribble have all joined since I said hi. So hi, everyone. I'm excited that you're here. And I'm excited because what we do, well, everything that we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. Jesus has a job for us today. Our dream in Follower of One is to help us each remember that, to help us step into the calling that God has for us. I don't want to waste my time here. I want my time on this planet and my time in this life to count for eternity. And I can do that by being faithful in small things and by being quick to give away a cup of cold water or do something nice to someone because I'm a Jesus follower. If my motives are because I believe that Christ wanted me to do that, then it says I shall not lose my reward. And I'm excited about that. And so that's my my encouragement and my challenge for us today is let's ask God, what small thing can we do? One of the great distractions that Satan puts on us who are in the church, that Satan tempts us with, is he gives us all these ideas of things we can't do. There are many things that we can all do, but if all of your ideas are all something you can't do, don't get discouraged. Just ask Jesus to guide you, to tell you what you can do. I thought, as I'm speaking today, of a couple of people I need to send notes to, and people that I've prayed for already this morning. I need to send them a note and let them know that I'm praying for them. Anything that you can do to encourage the people around you simply because you're a Christ follower matters forever. And that's what we were just told today. And so that's the trick behind Matthew 10:42. That's also what's behind Mark 9:41. And it's also what's behind Luke 16:10. Those were the verses that we discussed. So Bonnie said she asked the Lord again this morning, don't let me waste this trial. I want to learn all you have for me to know about you through this. That's exactly right. I always, I remember one time a boss correcting me on something at work, and I was pretty miserable about what I had done. And I remember my prayer was, Lord Jesus, help me learn whatever it is I'm supposed to learn, because I don't want to have to take this class again. But I think we have this opportunity. This life is this grand opportunity. We will have eternity to look back at this and say, did I do what I could? Help me do what I can. That, I believe, is the challenge for us as Marketplace Christians today. So I want to thank you all for joining today. Thanks for listening in. If you get a minute, share this. We'll be posting it publicly. Share it with some other people. Let's encourage all the believers that we know today to step into what Jesus has for us to do, because the rewards last forever. It's okay, I think, to pursue these rewards. Otherwise, I don't believe they would exist. And so I want to pursue the rewards God has for me. I don't want to be ambitious for my own fleshly desires, but I want to be ambitious to lay up treasure in heaven where moth and rust don't destroy. And so that's my goal. I don't want my rewards to have an expiration date, and I don't want my rewards to run out. I want to do as good a job as I can while I'm here on this planet. So thank you all for being part of this community with me. Thanks for the encouragement that you give me to help me keep going. I pray that we're all helping one another live out this faith, because Christ has a job for each of us to do today. None of us is here and Jesus is going, oh, I forgot him. I'm sorry. He didn't forget you. He has a job for you today. And so let's lean into what Jesus would have us do today, and he will use that, and it will matter forever. So I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being part of Follower of One. Thank you for being a Marketplace minister. And thank you for considering how what we do, no matter what it is, if we do it because we're following Jesus, then he has a purpose in it and he can use it. Thank you. I'm thankful for all of you guys as well. Remember, we have a whole day in front of us. what we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. So we get to store up those things forever, and we can do that today. Thanks very much. I see somebody still typing. So if you want any other questions or anything, let's do a 1, 2, 3, Jesus. Now, Jesus is a great Savior, and He's blessing us. And so, woohoo, Jesus, that's exactly right. Isn't it great that God created this whole system and put us in it so that we could follow Him and trust Him and love Him and be followers of His forever? Thanks very much for being a part of this community and for what you do. Remember, everything that we do can count forever. It's just how we're wired and what we're doing with it. And our goal is to help other Christians take part in this joy too. Let's get, like Rick said, let's get fired up and shoot us out of a cannon. The Lord is flinging us out today, and He will use us. Thanks very much.